Our guest speaker today is not a Rotarian yet, but she can certainly teach us a few things about service above self. Not many people know, but Central Florida is a particularly dangerous place for pedestrians, and our speaker has made it her life mission to educate children and adults on road safety, and is literally saving lives in the process. Please welcome Roni Wood.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Roni Wood. I am the Community Outreach Specialist with BestFootForward. I was brought to BestFootForward kind of by accident. I was hit by a driver about 2.5 years ago at the intersection of Curry Ford and Conway Road in Orlando. And so now I speak to groups like yours as well as HOA groups. We just want to share the message of the driver yield law. So we have a quick presentation we'll go through, and then if you have any questions at the end, please follow the process by the Rotary and we'll get you in order. All right, so crossing the street is like a real life game of Frogger. Dangerous by Design report states that Orlando is the #1 most dangerous place in the nation. That is Orange County, Osceola, as well as Seminole County. You can see on the graph here, in Orange County last year alone, 703 people were struck by drivers versus pedestrian accidents. Last year, I was one of the lucky ones when I was struck in 2018. The month that I was struck, 2 other people were also struck near the intersection where I was struck, and they did not survive. So I was the lucky one. These numbers are equivalent to 2 jumbo jets, 2 747 jumbo jets crashing into Central Florida each year. Those are astounding. So we are trying to make the change. Why are we the most dangerous? People are just careless. We are all drivers in our day, and we can all be a pedestrian in our day, whether we're coming out of the grocery store, we're walking to our car, maybe we're walking the family dog. We're all pedestrians, we're all drivers in our day. So careless driving. As you can see in this photo, the person is trying to cross the street and the driver is on the crosswalk. They are clearly breaking the law. The law states that when an individual steps off the curb and starts to walk across the crosswalk, that the vehicle must yield to the pedestrian in the crosswalk. The second reason is careless walking. We must do our part as well when we are pedestrians and cross in the appropriate places. And then careless design. Our streets here in Central Florida were designed many years ago for quick transit. They were not designed for the amount of people that are coming here every single day. All right, so we design our roads to move cars fast, like I said. So at the speed of 20 miles per hour, if a pedestrian is struck by an automobile, 9 out of 10 are going to survive that accident. When you up the speed to 40 miles per hour, only 1 person out of 10 would survive that crash. So we're trying to bring awareness, like I said, to the driver yield law. This is my family. I'm a mom, a wife, and I have 5 children. And this is my family on the day that I was in ORMC trauma unit, taken by ambulance. We had gone for a beautiful day bike ride, and 5 minutes from my home, I went to step off of the curb to cross the street, and the driver was looking left to make a right-hand turn on Curry Ford Road and gunned the gas and hit me. I was walking with the crosswalk signal. I had 14 seconds to go, and I had stepped off the curb, was waving my hands, and was certain he had seen me because he had looked my direction, but he did not. He hit me. I went to the hospital. The very next day, I had surgery, 3 months in a wheelchair, $120,000 in medical bills. It took me a good year to recover, and it definitely was the worst pain of my life. It has helped me, though, through my recovery and changed my life to turn my pain into my passion. And I just want to do something about pedestrian safety. So that is when I heard about BestFootForward and joined the team. we think like drivers first, and there is a language barrier disconnect in the media. So we're also working to change that. We are working with our partners, Orange County Sheriff's Office, the police department, as well as hospitals, schools, the city governments, county governments. These are some of our partners, and together they have formed Best Foot Forward back in 2012 in Orange County, 2017 in Osceola County, and just last year we launched it in Seminole County. So we are covering the Tri-County. These are our 3-county footprint. These are some of our partners. All right, how are we making an impact? Well, I'm sharing my message with you today, and then hopefully you'll go and share the driver yield law. That the fact is you must stop before a crosswalk for a pedestrian to cross, or you could face in Orange County $164 fine. All right, so we're working to get the drivers to yield. We're also working to eliminate distractions as people are driving. We're getting more people to yield and stop for the pedestrians in the crosswalk. And the pedestrians, we want them to use crosswalks. So as you look here, Florida law states, like I said, drivers shall stop and remain stopped at any crosswalk where the signage indicates to allow the pedestrian to cross when the pedestrian is in the crosswalk or steps into the crosswalk. All right. So as you see here, the blue car making a right-hand turn in the left diagram, that person must yield to that pedestrian crossing. And same for the yellow. Even if the pedestrian has stepped off the curb illegally, you must do your best as a driver to yield for them. All right. $164 fine. All right, so we are working with the 3E approach with Best Foot Forward. We are working to educate, which is what we're doing today. I'm just sharing our message with your club. Engineering, we look at an intersection and we say, what kind of engineering changes can we make there? Maybe we need to paint the crosswalk better. Maybe we need better signage out there, or maybe even removing a parking space like we did there in College Park. We removed a parking space. The drivers can see the pedestrian crossing. The pedestrian can see better. It is a slight engineering change. Then we enforce. Our next enforcement will be November 10th and 11th. You will see us all over media and social media talking about Operation Best Foot Forward. And that is when the officer walks across the crosswalk, and when drivers do not stop for that pedestrian in the crosswalk, there will be officers staged at each end of the block, and they will pull those drivers over and cite them with $164 fine. And then we evaluate. So we evaluate before we go in and evaluate the crosswalk, enforce it, and then we go a week later and evaluate. Did we make progress? We have been tracking our progress since 2012. We look for intersections around the county that are enforceable. We want them close to a school zone, maybe the Lynx bus stop or the Sunrail station. We want them in high crash corridors, as well as geographically dispersed for speed and around the county. These are some of the engineering signs that we can make changes at an intersection to allow drivers to see a pedestrian more visible. And then this is also our evaluation of like our baseline. We had a baseline at Woodbury Road, and at 35 miles an hour, we only had 8% of people yielding there.
Yeah.
So as you see here, the officer is starting to walk across.
Trying to safely cross the street.
And he is, it's kind of like a game of Frogger. As he's stepping across the intersection, he almost gets struck several times, and you see the officers at each end of the block, they're handing out the citations, and right there, he almost gets struck again. So it's saying the law reads that when you step off the curb and you're starting to walk across, the vehicles must yield to you as you're walking across the intersection. And then the officer here is reminding him, did you not see the people This vehicle is clearly in the wrong, as there is a person. If the person is within 2 lanes of you, you must make sure to stop on a 4-lane highway like this, divided even by a median. See, even in officers' clothing, they still were breaking the law. All right, so we are working to bring awareness through our media, through social media. And like I said, November 10th and 11th, watch for us around the county. These are some of our outreach opportunities. We work with children. We work, like I mentioned, HOA groups and clubs like yours. So test your knowledge. Which one of these are the crosswalk? And the answer is they are all a crosswalk, and crosswalks can look differently in different areas. So just know that if someone is crossing at an intersecting street, that could be where the crosswalk could be. All right, this pedestrian must scan 3 lanes of traffic before making a decision to cross. So as pedestrians, we must do our share. All right, here it is saying, is it legal to cross in the middle of a block like A or B? And according to Florida law, it's illegal to cross between intersections that have traffic lights. The intersections on either side of A don't have traffic lights, so it's legal to cross as long as the pedestrian yields to traffic. And you see here is a side street. When it comes to a T shape at an intersection, it is legal for them to cross there only if they are crossing between 2 traffic lights, a traffic light and a stop sign, but it would be illegal, considered jaywalking maybe, to cross where there is not that T shape where a side street comes out between 2 traffic lights. All right, so test your knowledge. When walking on a sidewalk, if it is not provided, do you walk on the shoulder or against traffic? Okay, you're gonna walk against traffic. Just like in this diagram, this gentleman is walking on the dirt, the grass area, facing traffic because there's no sidewalk. And at a crosswalk, a pedestrian must watch for the walking person symbol to cross the road. Are we making progress? Well, at the end of 2019, we had done 8,801 total citations, and we're not out here to hand out the citations. It's more about bringing awareness, and the money goes back into the county. We've done 492 enforcement details and 163 monitored crosswalks. We're currently up to 172, and then 557 presentations at the end of last year. So this is that intersection on Edgewater Drive that I mentioned, where we've made those slight engineering changes. We went from a baseline of people yielding to pedestrians, drivers yielding to pedestrians of 26%, and now it is at 70% at the end of the year. So we definitely are making progress. Now, here's how you guys can help us. You can tell people about the driver yield law, $164 fine that you'll receive for not stopping for someone there in a crosswalk. Refer a friend or a group to get involved. You can subscribe to our newsletter at iyield4peds.org. The newsletter goes out 4 times a year, so they don't bombard your email. You can add an I Yield for Peds bumper sticker to your car. It says I Yield for Peds. Or if there is a concern about a crosswalk, you can dial 311 in Orange County. If you have a crosswalk concern or lighting concern. So those are ways that you can help Best Foot Forward. And let's see. And then we are monitoring one crosswalk that is pretty near your Rotary Club. So the crosswalk that is near your Rotary, where we're working hard, is right there on Livingston at Broadway. And it's very low yield rates there of 38%. We're looking at possibly putting it in a 4-way stop at that intersection to make actual drivers stop. And we have a high rate of speed in that area, people cutting through those downtown streets. So it's a 25 mile an hour near Howard Middle School and St. James there at Livingston and Broadway. So we're working there. We will be out there again, November 10th and 11th. Don't forget about that. enforcing the driver yield law. So I hope you guys have enjoyed our presentation. It was kind of a little bit hairy, but do I have any